So I wanted to share a meditation that I saw a while back, and I haven't seen it printed anywhere or seen it around much. I think it's a fantastic meditation. So I wanted to share it and hopefully spread it around a little bit. So this is one Yogi Bhajan said was for childhood trauma, but it was for many other things as well. He said it was for childhood trauma to sort of help us grow up in certain aspects of ourselves that maybe we developed an unhealthy pattern or habit as a child, and it became kind of lodged in our psyche, and it still plays out in our habits today. And if we have a childhood habit, something that was imprinted on us, or a way that we figured out to cope with difficult situations, because as a child we don't have very many options. We have to just figure out how to move through a situation, and maybe we don't integrate ourselves in that situation. So we develop a pattern, it gets stuck, and if we play it out, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, that can cause some problems for us. So this is one that he gave us to help work with that. It's also very balancing, and it brings a lot of clarity. So he talked about in the lecture how we insulate the mind, and this could be either to protect us from criticism, it could be from insecurity, fear, or phobias. It also could be, like I said, a pattern that gets locked and isolated in itself, so that that's our coping mechanism. There are a lot of ways to talk about it, and also help us sort of grow up and control the mind. He talked about potty training the mind, so that it doesn't, just make a mess of things whenever it wants. We tell it what to do, and we can guide it. There are a lot of aspects to this one that he talked about. So going back to the insulating the mind, it really prevents an inflow and outflow of our creativity, of our spirit, you could say, and interacting with life with freshness, with authenticity, and with the spirit. So this is something he talked about that affects a lot of people. 80% of the planet he talked about, he said it affects. And it's a sense of emptiness or purposelessness, where we live very shallowly, very symbolically, and sort of by these habitual patterns. I think a great example of it is if you've seen the movie Visioneers. It's a very shallow living type of thing, where life is very black and white, and you're living symbolically. Like if, this product will make you happy, this product will make you strong, so you think you can buy this thing or own this thing or do a specific thing and you'll feel a certain way. But there's a real emptiness to it. It doesn't really provide the depth of feeling that you're looking for, and there's a sense of frozenness. So Yogi Bhajan called this cold depression. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it in this one, because I'd rather just share the meditation. And people can, as we've seen, a lot of people who can act happy, who might seem like they have everything, but really they're very depressed and very frozen and don't feel inspired. And also this insulation that I mentioned previously, it makes us not want to interact with life. It makes us not want to participate in life. We're alive, but we don't feel alive. We don't feel like participating and being creative and all of these things. And it's very difficult. Especially because it may seem like everything is set and perfect. And externally, when you look at someone objectively, you may think, wow, their life looks perfect, but on the inside they could feel empty, depressed, and all of these things. Yogi Bhajan said he's met people with more money than they could spend in 10 lifetimes, but all they wanted was to be able to sleep at night. So it's a very sad thing, because there's a hopelessness. If you think, okay, I have everything, I've reached the peak of success, but I still feel empty. What do? You feel very lost. And not that these things are bad. We should feel empowered to be able to get what we want and enjoy life and have materialistic things, but we should know that that's not the source of happiness. The empowerment to do those things, the creativity to live life, our willingness to share, the vitality to live, our intuition. Another aspect of this, he called it our self-sensory system. So these symptoms, negative symptoms that I'm talking about, are signs of not having this self-sensory system intact. We're not feeling life, we're not sensing life, we're not feeling alive with life and living by our intuition and by the flow of the spirit, you could say. So this is one of many meditations that he taught that really unfreezes that. So it's good for children to practice, but it's also good for adults to practice, to integrate their child, to integrate parts of their personality, and just to control the mind, to potty train the mind, as he talked about. So there's a lot else that we could say, but let's just do the meditation. So as usual, we'll tune in as we do before every Kundalini Yoga practice. So let's bring the palms together, center the chest, close the eyes, focus in and up at the third eye point. Let's inhale deep. Exhale. Just settle into the space, settle into the body. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om exhale. So when this practice was originally taught, it was taught for 33 minutes total with the whole ending practice and everything. We're just going to do 11 minutes. 5 minutes is even good. Just figure it out and work your way up. It is a very powerful meditation. Going back to controlling the mind, a good way to do this and not let it run wild is by doing something that the mind doesn't do automatically. So what we're going to be doing is something that the mind doesn't do automatically, and we're going to do it over and over and over until the mind starts to catch the wave that we're generating, so that the mind rides our wave. We tell it what to do. A lot of people talk about another sort of topic. Another thing people say about successful people is that they read a lot, and people think it's just because of the knowledge of what they get out of the books. Of course, that's a huge portion of it, but if our mind doesn't follow our direction, then we can't apply the knowledge properly. So if we're reading, we're telling the mind to focus here, we're telling it to follow a certain pattern. So the mind starts to get controlled a little bit, and it doesn't rule over you, so our emotions become a little smoother, and we can apply the knowledge that we get from the books. So yes, successful people read, but successful people have control over their mind. It's not necessarily the knowledge. In my opinion. Anyway, so the practice, we're going to have the left hand over the heart center, the center of the chest. The thumb is up, the fingers are basically together. And we're going to use the mantra Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And as we say it, we're going to take the right index finger. When we say Sa, we'll touch the lower lip, Sa. And then we'll touch the nose, Ta. Then we'll touch the corner of the eye, Na. And then the forehead, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And as we do it, we're going to alternate. So I just did my right side. Now I'll do the left. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. And it'll take us sort of through some processes. And this is a very balancing meditation. The mantra itself is very balancing. Having the heart, the hand over the heart, is a very comforting practice, a gesture, so that we can feel integrated and steady, and we'll keep a nice rhythm with the hand moving too. There are tapping, maybe you're familiar with tapping forms of therapy, where maybe an emotional process is happening, but we're keeping emotion going, and we're keeping the mind flowing, we're keeping our somatic systems flowing, so that we can digest and process these emotions and stuff. So, all right, so like I said, we're just going to do 11 minutes. It's a children's meditation, and the camera is sitting on my kids' trampoline that we have. So let's get started. We'll close the eyes, left hand over the heart center, and let's begin. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Ma. Sa, Ta, Na, Keep the focus. Satanama. 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 Stay with it. Satanama. Keep the focus. Satanama. 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 This is the hard part. Go through it. Satanama. 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 Satanama, 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 Satanama. Inhale very deep. Suspend the breath. Keep the left hand over the heart. Feel yourself as a child. Be present. Keep the breath held. Feel yourself as a child. Totally neutral. Exhale, hold the posture. Inhale deep. Again, suspend the breath. Picture yourself as a child. See that child in your heart, in this heart center. Concentrate. Feel the child. See the child. Be totally open, present, accepting. Exhale. Last time, inhale deep. Suspend the breath. Concentrate. Feel the child. Feel yourself as a child. See yourself as a child. And bless that child, whatever that means. Bless that child, whatever bless means to you. Feel it. Be open and present. Exhale, relax. And you can keep meditating or open the eyes whenever you're ready. And again, we did this for 11 minutes. Yogi Bhajan taught it for 33 minutes. That might be kind of long. It's probably best to work your way up to it if you want to do it as an extended practice. but as you can see, it can take you through many processes. And as long as you keep the rhythm going and stay consistent and really stay present to the pressure of touching each of the points, it can do wonderful things, bring a lot of balance and integration to your personality. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm going to post a lot more of these videos that use this mantra because they're very balancing and that just make you feel very clear. So I hope you enjoyed it.